Hello and welcome to a new episode of Not Your Normal Podcast
Podcast.
Quarantine Edition.
Woo!
Here we are in social distancing.
Yep.
Yeah. How you been?
Yeah, I've been good. I think a better question to ask is how you have been and how you've been coping with quarantine, and specifically how you've been coping with the hairdressers being shut, mate.
I can't believe you brought that up.
Of course I did. You can almost see it at the moment. We're getting slight glimpses when you turn.
Okay,
Watch.
I decided today to try and cut my hair. Not only does it save money, haircuts here cost like £16, whatever, between like 8-16, depending where you go. And so I'm like, okay, if I buy my own like clippers, I can save money if I get good at this by cutting my own hair. And
that sounds good.
So today you can see the result.
What is that sliver on the side? That sideburn. It's like you started and then you went, yeah, this isn't for me. This career is not, I can't do this anymore.
I was joining the Marines and then I backed out. There's also a bit at the back that I didn't get because I kind of cut it and then there's this.
It's not straight either. Were you looking into a mirror or what was going on? Like, were you just freehanding it? Be like, yeah, that feels good.
I don't know what it looks like. But there's like this tag bit here that's really long and then it's short.
Yeah. Oh man,
it's all good fun. But then I went to the shops and I forgot that I looked like this.
Right, yeah. You should have wear the hat.
I think they thought I was mentally deranged. They're like, call the asylum, one of them's got out again.
It does look patchy, like it's grown back, but No, it's a good concept, good idea.
Yeah,
save money, makes sense. But the execution, on the other hand, isn't as good.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see.
Right. So on today's episode, right, what are we going to be talking about?
Well, it's quarantine time, so what better to talk about than a zombie apocalypse? Because why not?
Exactly. We're probably heading into one now. I mean, the way 2020 has been heading, what was it, the bushfires in January or something like that? And now Corona, it's not going too well.
Well, I like how that, because there's that series on, is it Discovery Channel? I think it is, Doomsday Preppers. And it's so funny because they have these like bunkers and they have these safes and they're like teaching their whole family how to use all these different weapons. And they're like, yeah, we're ready for anything. And then like an apocalypse type thing comes and all that happens is everyone runs out of toilet paper.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone just, the
it's like
this is gone.
Kind of the closest you've come to kind of that kind of doomsday prepper thing.
Yeah,
and all that happens is everyone buys toilet paper.
What's up with that? Why? I don't get it. That's really...
Well, I saw a funny meme the other day that was instead of the toilet paper shelves being bare, now it's all the baking goods. Everyone's taking baking.
That's what I was trying to think of. I remember that meme and I was like, what was it that everyone's buying? But honestly, I messaged all of my friends and they're all baking. Everyone's become obsessive bakers. It's really weird.
World's gone mad.
Clearly, it's the only way to cope is to bake.
Exactly. But nonetheless, the question is, if there was a zombie apocalypse, what is the best weapon that you could have? So, Jack, why don't you introduce your weapon of choice?
Right. So, I personally believe that the katana. The Japanese katana. I love it. You got my head on a samurai. It's brilliant. I don't recommend the armor. I'm not going to lie. The armor, and it seems a bit bulky. You'd probably get, you'd get tired after wearing all that and walking around. So just the katana on the side, right? Now, I think this because it's sharp, obviously, and it can cut their heads off. And in every zombie movie, the head is always, the part you want to cut off. Regardless if you're going for the head, if you cut off the limb, you don't even have to kill the zombie, right? So like if, the hands are coming at you, you can just chop the hands off and run away. You don't even have to aim for the head or or you can use it for other purposes. Because let's be honest, it is a sword that can kill zombies, but it's also a knife, right?
Cool. All right.
I mean, that's where I'm at the moment. Do you want to introduce yours, and we can talk more?
Okay, my weapon is
Oh,
the ballista.
What happened to like the axe or whatever? What happened to the ballista?
That was just a joke.
Oh my god! There we go. That's what I expected. But the ballista was a bad idea. Like even like
it was either that or like a Panzer tank. Anywho.
And you chose a ballista. I mean, even a tank would be a better idea.
So
right,
talk
us through this.
This is a weapon that is about 1.5 meters long. So it is good for all the social distancing needs. It is, as you can see, axe, hammer, very difficult. Axe, hammer, and spear.
And spear. Right.
Axe, hammer, spear. It does everything you'd ever want. You have the jab. You can kill them from distance.
How long did you say it was? 1.6 meters, was it?
Well, between 1.5 and 1.8. So
okay,
that's about...
Right, so yeah.
That's like... I mean, I'm 1.8 meters. So that's
almost
like...
as tall as you.
That would be as tall as me.
Right.
So just
thinking about it now.
And then so I can stab. I can then chop and slash them with the axe. But then, for all your blunt needs, I can then smash them to bits with a hammer. Oosh!
You do understand. Like, my first point would be, you know, it weighs about 5.5 kilograms, and you're going to lug that around. And do realize water and food is scarce. So you're lugging around 5.5 kilograms extra on top of your backpack.
Yeah, but look at your katana. By the way, clarify, is that a one-handed or two-handed katana? Because there's big difference.
I actually wanted to talk about that because I've got something called the ninjita, or it's basically a shorter katana. It's straight, it's a straight blade, and it's much shorter. And that would be the only other option because obviously it's smaller, and in close combat scenarios, if you're like inside a shop or grocery shop, and then you can like get them closer. Because the only problem with a katana, a two-handed katana, is, you know, you got to obviously reach round, and that could be, if something's coming at you, you know, you kind of want it. You don't want to be spending time slashing that. So I think the only other option would be a ninjetta, which is smaller.
But the problem is that you're getting up all close and personal. You can't be doing that. Distance is key. They've got to be far away. Whether this is
1.8 meters,
enemy, a robber, someone trying to kill me, or a zombie, I'm at a safe distance that I can be like, back off.
Yeah, but remember, it's 1.8 meters, and you're holding it. Yeah, and you're holding 5.5 kilograms. That's heavy.
Where are you getting this? 5.5 kilograms.
I've searched it online. I just had a search.
Let me search this.
Halberd weight. It says 5.5 kilograms. It does piercing or slashing damage, but is not considered a reach weapon, which is interesting because you're telling me it's a reach weapon.
It does piercing or slashing damage, but it's not considered a reach weapon.
So, and your main point, Luke, is that you can do reach and stuff. Interesting. Interesting.
Well, I would class that as a.
I mean, I suppose you could sharpen
weapon.
It. I suppose
it's
you
not,
could like.
Here's the thing: a reach weapon, I could imagine like they're comparing it to like some pike that's like 10 meters long.
Yeah.
This is a reach weapon in that I can have a nice amount of distance away from people that I can stab them, I can run them through, I can run at people with a spear, or I can chop them, or I can hammer them. Boom. I can use the hammer to knock down things. Doors, I can get through doors. I can get into boxes. I can use the axe to like, I don't know, chop things like a tree or also a door, and I can use the spear to run it through people.
What about close quarters fighting with this behemoth of a weapon?
Well, the idea is that they don't get close.
Yeah, but I mean, like, have you ever been like 7-Eleven or like one of those like Tesco's? You've got the side of, you got the what's it called? Where they store the food, the racks on the side.
Yeah, the aisles.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're in between, yeah, the aisles. If you're in between an aisle and you go to swing that and you like hit something, and then you like try and hit round, you haven't got that much movement space. So I'm thinking about
that's the
that
beauty
kind of
of it. It's that adaptable because I don't have to swing. Because if I swing, I'm using the axe. I can jab. I can jab.
Right. If you jab and you stab and you pierce, what happens if the zombie stays on the end of the spike? Then you're lugging back another zombie.
What?
Like if you pierce and it stays in him and you can't pull it out.
I would pull it out.
No, but you can't. Like if you pierced him and you pulled it out and you can't pull it out.
I'd use my foot to.
Exactly, but here's the thing: there's another zombie coming, or another 2 zombies coming, and you're in the aisles of Tesco's.
Yeah, but I can ask the same. Here's the difference, though. Let's say you run a zombie through with your katana. Okay, yeah. You can then. What if that then gets stuck? The problem is it gets stuck in the zombie, and you're now a lot closer to it. Whereas if I jab a zombie, I'm still 2 meters from it.
1.8. No. I see what you mean. I wouldn't. Yeah, but think about it. I don't have to stab a zombie. I can just slice its limbs off, and then it doesn't have arms, or I can slice off its head.
But if you're slicing, you've got to get close enough that you can slice it. You're getting dangerously close. What if it runs at you? I can just hold it in front of me. I can just be like, come at me.
Right, let me search up the length of a katana. How long is a katana? How long? I think I could do the same thing. How long is a 2?
One-handed.
No, I've said it's a 2-handed. You asked me a minute ago and I said 2-handed. Right, So it's much lighter than yours. It's about 1.1 kilograms.
Yeah, but weight doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does, because you got to be mobile.
Yes, if you're running away from hand.
Yeah, but what if you get overwhelmed with zombies? Then you're logging around 5.5 kilograms and whatever.
Then I do my super move. I do my ulti, where I hold it, and I just wail it round. Woohoo!
Right, and the scenario is you're running away.
The spear is taking them all out, as is the axe as it comes round. And then when they're on the ground, I then use the hammer to smash their skulls.
Right. The size of a katana is about 80 centimeters, which is pretty long if you ask me.
Yeah.
My point. Like,
Wait, say it again. I wasn't listening.
80 centimeters.
It's not that far. It's less than a meter.
Yeah, but it's still got to get far enough.
But you still got to get close. You still got to get close to.
Not that close.
Yeah. Well,
like let's be honest. It's not as close as like what you think it is. It is a katana.
I mean, it's not.
Remember, I've got long arms.
It's not like knife close. Sure.
Yeah.
And also, 80 centimeters is still pretty long.
Yeah,
and how are you gonna be swinging that as well if you're in a close aisle?
Right, so I've just read it again. It says between 60 and 80 centimeters, so it varies, doesn't it? So like,
stop changing your answer.
It varies, doesn't it? It could be between 60 and 80. No, but good point though. Good point. I'd still believe katanas. Right. The only problem we both have, although you might have an edge over this, not pun intended, is that the edge can dull down, right? So the only other option, I believe, is like what they call blunt. That's it, blunt.
I got one.
But the problem is you've got one.
See how versatile it is.
And that's what I mean. It's versatile in that regard.
I mean, the thing is, you can sharpen weapons quite easily, but in that kind of way, I have less bits to sharpen than you do on yours. Yep. Which means I can sharpen it a lot easier because I only have to sharpen a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. If we look at the katana, it's got quite a big blade as well. I mean, if I could reconsider, I'll choose the the Roman gladiator sword, the two-sided, 2-edged gladiator sword. Let me see
Just
if
the Roman sword.
I don't know, gladiators, Roman sword, because those are quite small, but they're also quite versatile. And they've got quite a big blade, and I feel like you could do a lot of damage with that close range and...
the gladius.
Is that what it's called? Gladius. Rudus gladius.
So that's 45 to 68 centimeters. So you're now getting
that's like, I'm getting even closer. But then, I don't know. I don't know. Or just go with a sledgehammer or something like that. But the problem with a sledgehammer is it's a lot of energy. Also, that's the same with your thing. No, you can't say that as well, because if you were to use your blunt edge on yours, it would be the same as using a sledgehammer, which requires as much energy. Same as with an axe.
But what I'm saying is that...
And if the axe gets stuck in their like shoulder or something, then you've got an axe in them and you have to try and get it out. But katana is sharp and you can slice them.
The beauty of this is that depending on the situation, depends on which part I use.
I don't think that spear, that little knife thing on the end, is going to do much damage. If you were to pierce them, unless you were to get their head. Other than that, it's not going to do anything.
If you are coming at me, I can straighten your body and I can pin you. And I've pinned you and you will not get any closer to me.
Yeah, but your weapon's there as well. So let's say you've run up in Tesco's. For some reason, we're in Tesco's. You've run up, there's a zombie, and you've just pinned him down in front of the meat aisle. Right, now he's pinned against the wall. But you've got your weapon stuck in there. What are you going to do?
Pull it out.
So I'm assuming you put your foot on him or something like that, and you pull it out, right?
Well, I've got enough strength to pull it out. It doesn't take much to pull out. See, this is the thing. Your blade, if it goes in and through, is going to be a lot difficult to pull out. I've only got a little tiny bit that I have to pull out. It's easier.
Yeah, I suppose.
Then I can then pull it out, and then I can either then jab it in again at a different point, or I can then use it to get the legs, or I can use it to get.
That's not a bad idea. You could sweep him under and then hammer him down, because you could sweep him under with a spear and then hammer him down with a blunt edge. That could be a good. Combo.
And then once they're on the floor, I'm finished. And I'd KO.
I don't know. It's a good. I don't know. I just think it's too heavy. I just think it's too much. Too much weight and too much energy needed to swing it. I think that's the only thing. You could modify it.
You could modify it half the length of the stick, so it's like a one-handed, like axe, hammer.
But I think most of the weight is in the head of the hammer.
Yeah,
so
obviously.
Would it be too much? It'd be on a hand. I feel like you need it to be two-handed.
Yeah, but that's fine. You can use it as a walking stick as well, so it can help you in that kind of way.
5.5 kilogram walking stick. Yeah, fair enough.
5 kg isn't that bad. You say it as if it's like a ton. 5 kg.
It's 12 pounds, for God's sake. Like, it's a lot. In a zombie apocalypse, you're going to be exhausted. Is all I'm saying.
How much does a katana weigh? How much does
1.5 kilograms?
Oh well.
I'm just saying, mobility is number one, I believe, in a zombie apocalypse. Would you agree with
that? Depends how you are in the apocalypse. If you're more of a settler or rather a scavenger who runs about and stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, like in general, when coming into a contact with zombies, you want to try and keep, like you're saying, you don't want to get close to them, but also you want to try and keep your distance as much as possible and only attack when you have to. Because every time you attack, I don't know what the chances are, but there's a chance you'll die, obviously. So you want to reduce those chances by just never getting into contact with a zombie.
Exactly,
so
which is why being 1.8 meters away from them gives you the biggest advantage.
Hold on, you're acting as if like you're holding it with one hand. It's like here, and then you've got 1.8 coming out of you. You're going to be holding it with two hands. You've knocked off about, I don't know, half a meter already just by holding it securely here. Whatever. Give or take. So that's actually all you've got is about 1.3 meters or a meter at most, or at least.
That's still an extra 20 centimeters over you.
It's still a meter. Like, if they come into a meter with me, I can just chop their head off and we're sorted.
I'm sorry.
Right. So, I don't know. I do believe to conclude, I do believe that your weapon is a good choice because of how many other weapons it's got. However, I do still believe it's too heavy. Like, if it was lighter, I like the versatility of it. I don't like the mobility of it. If I was trying to be mobile, I would choose a katana. If I was trying to choose the one that was going to last the longest, I think I'll choose yours. What would you think? Would you agree with that? Like, if you needed mobility, you'd choose a katana.
I don't need mobility because I've got that.
Is that just because you can't run, or is that just because you got that? No, but I'm saying if you had to choose.
Because I got this. You don't need mobility when you've got this.
If you get overwhelmed, I'm just saying. If you get overwhelmed, I'm just saying. Anyway,
people need to comment on who they agree with.
Yeah. Also, who they agree with, but also what weapon they think if they don't agree with us,
and why they agree.
There's so many other weapons,
and why they agree with me,
and why they agree with you. It's you can see how we stood away from guns because obviously ammunition and stuff, and bows because it needs ammunition. So kept away from them.
Can I add that technically I could throw this?
Like no, just leave. No, that could not happen. You could not throw that. Hold on, the way you're throwing it as well, as if you could just like chuck it like that. If you went like that, it would just go.
If I had to, I could throw it.
You could do it like, you know, when you're doing that sport when you hold the ball and you sort of like swing around and then it
that's
goes.
my super move.
That's it.
I'm encircled and I swing it.
I don't know. I don't see it.
And I swing
it. I guess it could work.
That, so then it take them all out.
Have to be very sharp. It would have to be sharp.
Boom.
Big bang rush. Right. On to our next topic of today. Still keeping on the zombie apocalypse theme. We're talking about location. So let's say we've got our weapons, we've got our friends, gang, whatever, and now we need to go somewhere. Where, Luke, would you go?
Where am I gonna settle?
Yeah.
Now this is the way I wanna introduce this is by saying this. Okay, now the obvious thing people think is, maybe some sort of castle or city or somewhere that whatever people usually think of, you can't go with that. Because what people are going to immediately think of is where everyone's going to go. So you have to think of not the first or the last, because that's the thing that people are going to think of, but like the middle thing, the thing that people won't know. So I thought, okay, I need somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
I need somewhere in the middle of nowhere that people won't find, and I need something that already has defensive fortifications, water source, and farmland that I can then sell. With those three things, I'm done. So, the place I chose is called Housestead Hadrian's Wall Fort. The ancient Roman fort. Look at this.
It's not even built yet.
Is that
the walls there?
We have a defensive wall going around it.
How high is that wall? Do we know?
Like 2-3 meters.
Okay, fair enough. That's not bad.
We have a lake up here. A lake that will have fish. That will have water that I can use. We have forests and plains that we can use for farming.
Fair enough.
And we have earthworks and defense, and we can see for miles. And so we can then
flatland. Yeah, that's good.
We can then use this middle area to build in, and we can then rebuild this wall higher.
Yeah, that might need it. Also, because I know you've got some. You look like you've got a blockage. You look like part of the wall's fallen down in the. You can see that? Yeah, there. You might have to rebuild that.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. But you know what? It's not a bad idea.
The Roman fort of Hadrian's Wall.
Do they have ditches as well? Like, like the wall, have you got a ditch and then
Well, they
the
should
wall?
have earthworks, technically, which I'm not
What do you mean by
entirely sure.
earthworks?
Well, you can see here that kind of you can see the earth has been worked.
Ah, I
Earthworks are
see,
like
I see.
things like ditches and stuff like that.
Okay,
But
yeah.
if not, we can make them.
Yeah.
And here we are. Everything you could possibly need. And look, no city or village or town in sight.
It does mean less zombies as well, and less contact with human.
This is about
human
settlement,
interaction.
settling, and sustainability. Here we are. Beat that.
Oh, easy. Right. So, my place. Right. We're looking at settlement, settability, and whatever else you said. So I chose somewhere where, the middle ground. Somewhere where people are not going to think of, but also somewhere in plain sight. I chose an oil rig, and that's me, by the way, sitting on top of the oil rig, King Jack, right there.
Okay.
It's accurate drawing as well, because I'm a stick man. Right, so why did I choose an oil rig? Well, firstly, as we know, oil rigs are in the middle of the ocean, which is brilliant, because I'm assuming, I don't know, we haven't agreed on this yet, but if zombies can swim or not.
Let's say no.
They just walk on the bottom. Even then, they couldn't climb up. I'm just going to rule that out right there. I don't think zombies could get on. Right, the other thing we have is human people seeing it. On the first day of an apocalypse, right? So with any settlement, you've got to make sure no one's already settled there, right? So if you were to choose like a prison or a city or a house, you've got to make sure there's no gang already there. So the good thing about oil rigs is the workers working there would have left day one of the apocalypse because they would have demanded to be with their families. They would have been like, oh, I need to go back. Oh. So it's going to be practically in good condition, great condition, because people have been working there, but also it's going to be free and spare. Now, the good thing about oil rigs is they all have a water refinery. So I've got infinite water. And obviously, to work a water refinery, you need power. And because we're on an oil rig, I've got like, I wouldn't say infinite oil, but you know what I mean? I've got loads of oil. Because obviously we've got crude oil and natural gas, depending on which one we pick. Now, oil rigs, depending on the one we choose, it could have a helicopter. We could, get lucky and get a helicopter. But obviously, then again, do we know how to fly the helicopter? Those are some issues that we might have. It's also got loads of safety boats, so we have got transport on that regard. But also the third thing was, it is, what was it? Right, that's it. They all have food for 6 months for the guys that live there, and they also have medical places. So you've got, if anyone gets injured, we can take them to the medical bay and we'll get sorted out. And they've got all the medical supplies to last for those 6 months. And they've also got places to sleep, entertainment. It's got everything for people, as if people were living on a secluded man-made island. And which is essentially what we're doing. So it's almost like it was kitted out for the zombie apocalypse, and that's why I think it's the best place to be.
I have one question already.
Go on. I'm ready for this.
See, genuinely, I could visit this place within a day.
Yeah, so could I with this.
How are you getting there?
Boat.
What? How are you? Do you
have to go there on a boat?
Where are you finding this boat?
Well, we'd have to nick one, wouldn't we? Do something illegal.
This is like
nick a boat. Hold on. How are you getting to that wall? Are you walking or are you taking a car?
I could take a car, but finding a car.
You could take a car, but how would you find a car?
Well, I could walk.
Well. Listen. I think it would be much easier to find a boat than a car.
Really?
Because people's first...
Okay, let's say you found a car. I mean a boat.
A boat.
You found a boat.
Yeah. I've got the gang on. We're on our way to an oil rig.
Well, where's this oil rig? How do you know where to find an oil rig?
Well, because you can go on, you can search up and you can find out where all the oil rigs are. So I'd choose a good oil rig. I'd be like, yeah, that's the one. I'll choose that one. Like if you look on the coast of the UK, there's many oil rigs, and also in other countries. Let's just assume we're in the UK. I'm pretty sure there's offshore oil rigs.
Okay, so let's say by this miraculous account of that you're able to find a boat and find an oil rig and get the boat to an oil rig and actually somehow get on the oil rig.
Yeah.
What about the really harsh weather of the open ocean?
Well, that is the only sort of problem I can see is the harsh weather.
I can see more.
Do you mean? Yeah. No. Do you mean when we're going there or when we live on the oil rig?
Well, both. Hurricanes, high seas.
Well, they're designed for it. They are literally designed for it. Remember, people were living on these already nowadays, so they're prepared for that.
Okay. And what about sustainability?
All right. After the 6 months of, let's just say after the 6 months, we lived there for 6 months.
Where are you getting food? Where are you getting food? Where are you getting fresh water?
The ocean.
Oh gosh, here we go.
The ocean. Fish are everywhere. We can go down. We've got boats. We've got fuel. If we need to, if we need to go on a boat and go out and fish, then we can. If not, I'm pretty sure you can access I think there's like a lower dock section around the bottom of the, like near the ocean bed. Not ocean bed. Like the ocean, the top of the ocean. You know what I mean? Like the sea, top of the sea, right? Where you can obviously, where the boats come in and they deliver stuff. So I'm assuming we could fish off the docks like that. Or we could do what we used to do in the UK and do crab fishing from the side, right? So there's many different options. So seafood, yeah, he's laughing because he knows what I mean. Seafood is brilliant, right? And you got to think about it. Oil rigs, they're like way out of the way. So we're not going to have pollution from the local country or city or whatever.
No, you create pollution.
No, that's just not, no. Well, all right, let's just say there's been an oil spill and there's oil everywhere or there's a lot of pollution around here, which I don't think there will, because remember, these are very deep. So like the top of the sea will be unaffected, right?
Have you seen
we can always spills? Yeah. But I'm saying like, there wouldn't be an oil spill. We'll just choose one that hasn't had an oil spill, won't we? We'll just think, yeah, I'm not having that one.
All right, but you're still, okay. How are you getting fresh water?
I told you there's a water refinery on there and it's powered by the generator.
What?
There's a water refinery on there. If you look up an oil rig, it has, they have to have a water refinery because they turn seawater into fresh water using the energy from the oil. So that would provide us, loads of water forever. And then we've got natural gas or crude oil to power that water refinery. And not to mention the self-containment, how far away we are. Let's just assume you can get this virus. It's brilliant. I mean, the first 6 months of a zombie apocalypse will be the hardest, right? And if you're trying to farm in the first 6 months, you're not going to get food immediately. If you're in Hadrian's Wall, you're going to be sitting there trying to grow crops, when in reality, you're going to need immediate, food. You're going to need comfort food as well. It's going to be a stressful situation.
Wild animals.
Going out, wild animals,
Deer.
Yes.
Deer, rabbits,
you can get
fish.
You can get diseases from them. That's effort. What if it's a failed hunt? What if it's a failed hunt? What if you don't have weapons?
That's not true. What?
Right. Considering we have a 6 months supply on this oil rig of nutritious food, I'd say that's pretty good. It's a relaxing.
Who says they wouldn't take it? What if they strip?
Because on the first day of the zombie apocalypse, no, they wouldn't. On the first day, they're all going to go home. They're all going to leave. I know, because they're going to leave in a panic. They're all going to go.
Okay.
I think an oil rig is.
How are you getting food? Fishing. Just fishing.
Yeah, fishing. Fishing. You've got kelp, right? We'll just live on like a fish diet, right? I think
just
good.
Fish. Just fish.
Well, we can treat ourselves. We can always go after a year, because remember, 6 months food supply, and we go back to the city. We can always go if we need to. I'm saying fishing is a number one. Fishing number one.
Just
or
fish.
We can. Yeah.
You can't live off just fish.
Fish and a side order of kelp.
if you have too much tuna, you get mercury poisoning.
Well, I'm not going to eat tuna, am I? I'm going to mix it up. I'll have some like salmon or something. I don't know. I don't know much about
Salmon are
fish.
fresh. Salmon are freshwater.
You're
If anything, you'll find salmon there.
Right, maybe not salmon. Maybe that was a bad idea. Whale. Let's just eat whale. Let's really go out on this because the whale population is going to go up and we can eat whale. All it takes is for one whale. Boom, done. What? Honestly, a whale would last us for like a full month. It's going to be brilliant. It's clearly, it's isolated. It's just the best.
I think it's too isolated.
And it's got no security issues. Like, you won't need anything.
You could instead go here.
Listen, I think I beat you with the first 6 months water and food supply on there. Not right. Where are you going to get medical supplies from?
I don't need medical supplies.
So if someone hurts themselves or breaks a leg or worse, gets a disease or something like that. I have a full-blown medical bay in the oil rig that's kicked out to be, basically what I'm trying to say is the oil rig is kicked out for this.
This whole thing is based on the idea that people leave it untouched. That
right,
you can just rock up.
Let's assume they don't, because I've won you if they do, right? Would we agree? If they leave it how it is, which I think is highly,
Well, obviously that would, because you're like, oh, what if I turned up to a place that was fully equipped with food, a water system, and medical?
Yeah, but then you got to look at yeah, but this is an oil rig, like this is in the ocean and stuff, so like nobody's going to touch it. With anything like with we just obviously, you guys know about it. GCSEs cancelled. We had to leave school. We just left school unintended. We just we just left everything out. Maybe locked it up a little bit.
Yeah, but
we assumed we were coming back.
Exactly.
Yeah, but think about it. When the first day of a zombie apocalypse, they won't know much information. They'll get the news late as well, but potentially get the news late. I don't know about that. That might be a bad point. So they're just going to leave. They're going to bolt, go see their families. Number one priority. There's going to be panic. They're just going to go. They're not going to worry about grabbing, oh, shall I grab the last pack of biscuits? No, not really. I'd rather go see Janet, my wife, or someone like that, and my kid Simon, or someone like that. Right? They'd rather go see them than worry about if they've got enough medical supplies. And think about it. We're not just talking about bandages and stuff. We're talking about full-blown machinery, to full-blown medical beds and X-rays or whatever they might have, right? Or defibrillators and stuff like that. Though they're not going to nick them. Admittedly, you're right. They might nick bandages and biscuits and stuff like that, but they won't nick full-blown machinery and stuff like that. I think I've won. Look, that's the face of I've won. Your little.
It's a good point.
Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah.
But you still have the problem that your whole thing is based on the idea that you're able to find some boat and find an oil rig and actually get there.
Have you not walked on the coast? Actually, you've walked on the coast. If you just walk on the coast of any coast, you'll come across like 50 boats. And then if you go up to a port, loads of boats there. Even when there's not a port, you can just nick some old guy's boat. He'd probably be dead. You could probably shoot him.
Where are you getting the keys and the fuel and everything?
Sailboat? Could be a sailboat, couldn't it? Doesn't have to be electric.
And you know how to.
I do actually. But give or take.
Not a tiny sailboat. This is like
a yacht.
One that you need like more than like 3 people to man it.
Yeah.
You think you can sufficiently?
Right. It'd be worth a shot. I would look at it and think, right, listen, John and Dave or whoever I've got with me, can we do this? If we can't, then we carry on looking.
Well,
right. Or
I'll be here when you give up.
I'll be here when you're sitting there and zombies are taking down the bricks of the old ancient Roman rubble, right? Or climbing over.
You can't listen. Armies couldn't penetrate this, so I don't think unarmed zombies can get through. And also, once I've established my settlement, I can recruit people and build it bigger. This could be a fully functioning city. Not many people.
You can't trust people. You cannot trust people.
Well,
You would.
this is
I don't
about
know.
sustaining the future and rebuilding.
It's about surviving. Also, I think you're going to struggle with the first 6 months because people are going to try and take it from you. People are going to zombie. First, you've got the issues of zombies. People are going to try and take it from you.
Because look, where do you see people?
I could see a road.
Where?
Is that not a road? I can't really point to it. Is there not like a road below
Here?
the lake, down the lake, on the left by your head? Well, actually, you're right. I think that you got like a dark.
This. This?
Yeah, maybe,
That's-
but also the other side.
That's Hadrian's Wall.
No, the other one.
There.
Is that still Hadrian's Wall, or is that just like where a hill and there's a road
Yes.
under it?
No, that's the wall. That's the
Right,
wall.
let me search up Hadrian's Wall. I swear, there's got to be a main road.
Type in Housestead Hadrian's Wall, and you'll see that it is in the middle of nowhere. And
Right, Housestead Hadrian's Wall. Oh, is that the B638? You got the B638 highway next to you. B6318. Now, let me tell you a thing or two about the B6318. It leads straight to the A69. A69.
yeah, but
And do you know where the A69 leads to? It leads straight to Newcastle upon Tyne.
have you looked what the B6318 looks like?
I haven't really had a look. The B638. Let me go to satellite, because the B6318, you've got a road right next to you. It's a road. It's a road. It's a half decent road.
But
It's a road
there's no one on it.
It's a good. Let me see if I can.
I'm gonna put it up so then we can all see it.
What? Share your screen.
No, I'm just gonna add it as my background.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. There we go. Right, look at that. That is a road that people would drive down. Now, admittedly,
It's in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing here.
yeah, but you're on your way to Newcastle upon Tyne. Like, you got to watch that, because people are going to be coming out into the countryside, thinking what you're thinking. Right, there's a massive wall. I'm going to go investigate.
But the point is that people won't think, let's go live at this Roman.
Because it's not very good. It's not very good idea.
People won't think that, and so they'll just keep going.
Right, let's say you're left alone, because obviously security. All right. You know what? I'll agree with you on that one. There's a chance, because also you're in the north as well, lowest population density in the UK. I don't know. We have to analyze it, north and south divide or whatever, right? In geography, right? Let's say security is an issue for both of us. Obviously, not for me because I'm in the middle of the ocean, and not for you because you're.
I've got walls.
North England, and also you've got walls, stuff like that.
I can make.
I don't think 6 months. How are you going to deal with the first 6 months, or the first month even?
Okay, first 6 months are all about survival: food, water, shelter. We have stone. We have wood that we can use for building materials.
Right.
We have a lake that we can use for fresh water. That lake contains fish. That lake is also a water source for animals like deer, for rabbits, all sorts of things. Same as these forests. All of this holds wildlife, and just the general scenery holds wildlife that I can hunt. So food, water, and security and shelter, which are the 4 big things, I've got it down, and it's genius. And then I can then repair the walls, make them bigger, build more shelters, re-establish.
I think someone could easily overtake you, like easily, because you'll be too widespread to take them. Because I don't know how many. Let's say you're in a group of 3 or 5. There's no way you could manage that whole complex. Admittedly, you've got it good on the first 3 months, right? Or the first 3 to 6 months. You can live.
It's not that big. But also,
it looks big.
What you have to remember is, so you look here. Let's say we use this area for housing, okay?
Right.
This area is housing. This we all use for farming. This is this is all farming area that we turn into crops or whatever. So it's all contained within this area, which isn't that big. It's maybe, I don't know, an acre. Not that big. This is probably from here to here is probably, well, it's less than, it's probably about half a kilometre. I don't actually know. I will
Yeah,
search.
right. Give or take, give or take.
I will look.
No,
I'll look. I'll tell you
Right.
how exactly. Here we are.
Okay.
It is. I will let you look at that. It is
We right? We right? About an acre?
150 meters. This fort.
Right. 150 meters. 150 meters.
Which is tiny when you think of it.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
You haven't got much trees. You have not got much trees.
Well, that's
Yeah,
just
but I
showing
just
you
don't
one
think.
bit.
Have you got the tools? Where are you going to get the tools from to do all of this? Because think about it. There's nothing there. That is literally just rubble. You have to go there with supplies. So that's obviously the first danger.
But let me remind you who lived here. Romans.
Yeah, and they had tools. They had a full-blown army as well, remember?
Romans, that means that I don't need any modern day tools to live here.
Yeah, but you need their tools. And where are you going to get their tools from?
Okay, so I can use the rubble
Yep.
and the stone to pile up on top of each other to make a house. Or I can use that
Right.
stone and
Yep.
form that into tools using that
Stone tools. They don't. I don't think they used stone tools. I think they used iron and stuff like that, didn't they?
What I'm just saying that is that I can
It's an option.
survive
It's an
being
option.
very. I can be very primitive. I've got enough resources here that I can be primitive. You
Right.
know.
I just think it's going to take a lot more time, obviously, because you're using primitive tools, and you've got to weigh up your time between building up your defenses and getting food, because obviously hunting is time-consuming. Right? They used to have hunters, just
Yeah.
pure hunters, like that would go out every day and hunt for the village, and then you had pure builders. And if you're doing all that yourself, it could be hard to manage.
The beauty of this is that because it is in the middle of nowhere, because it is pretty much dead and ruined, no one thinks about, oh, let's go here.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've got.
So I
People hear about you.
I
People
can
hear about you.
I can fortify maybe a corner that I can stay at.
Yeah, fair enough. Like that corner. You're
Once
pointing
then
at,
I've
it's
got
like
enough
stone wall.
water, I can make water storages. I am close enough in a way to any other settlements that I can find things like containers or bins or whatever. Get a wheelie bin, fill it up with fresh water. Done. And
Yeah, true.
obviously,
How
I
you
mean,
gonna transport the water? Yeah.
well, I mean, it'll be long and hard, but I'll carry it. If it's a wheelie bin, I've got wheels. That's why it's called a wheelie bin.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But then again, if you're like burning stuff, say obviously you're gonna need a fire, like if it gets cold at night and stuff, then people will see the smoke from really far away. Remember, it's really flat. It looks quite flat in the picture.
But that depends when I'm burning, when I'm having the fire.
Yeah.
If I'm
That's a
having
good
it,
point.
if I'm having it at night, then no one's going to see it.
Yeah.
During the day, sure, people will probably see it because it's very obviously, it's not mountainous.
Yeah.
But if you do get more people and you start establishing more of a settlement, then that's fine because you have security. You can start building weapons and stuff.
Problem is when people start hearing about you, right? I don't know if you've seen Walking Dead, but I think season 3 or something, when they went to the prison, it was brilliant. Zombies they had like walls and stuff, barbed wire. It was brilliant. They could live there probably for the whole season. The whole, they're up to season 10 now. Like they could have lived there forever. But a gang found out about them and said, actually, I want the prison, selfishly. And then that's how everything got ruined and they had to move. So, because they got overwhelmed. And I suppose because you're using these primitive tools, it wouldn't be hard for them to come in with their cars. Let's assume they're because there's bound to be an established gang with cars and there always is. That could easily come and overtake you if you don't have the required security or tools, especially if you're still developing and you're still, going out for hunting and food and water and stuff like that. So I do think you're good if people don't know about you.
But
as soon as people find out.
Two things. First thing is that because this doesn't come to mind immediately, if you think of somewhere that's fortified, you think of modern day things, maybe a prison or whatever. If you do think back a bit, you're like, oh, maybe I'll go to a castle. But no one's thinking a
ruined castle.
Ruined
castle.
A ruined Roman fort.
Yeah.
Unless if you're clever.
I think it's risky.
And also,
I feel like this is safe. My one's safe.
I'm taking this from the standpoint that I'm going there with nothing, but I might have things.
Yeah.
If I have cars or whatever, you know, I can use that to my benefit. You could siphon a car for fuel and use that fuel to burn.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I just think it's riskier than mine. I think the oil rig is the safest and just the best one. Right? But yours could be, I don't know.
I think you'll struggle.
How will I struggle?
Okay, long term, what happens when you know, how do you repair the oil rig if it gets battered by storms, you know, by all these different weather conditions? You know, oil rigs need to be maintained because they rust.
Yeah. That's what I meant before by it's the biggest flaw is obviously, you know, weather conditions and stuff like that. Obviously you've got simple things like painting it before consistently painting it over and over again, and before it rusts.
How are you going to paint an oil rig?
Well, because they're going to have stuff, aren't they? And I'm going to have a team. It's not just me up there. It's going to have me, Dave, John, Janet.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I've taken this from the standpoint that I'm on my own with nothing.
Right, and if I was on my own with this.
You've gone from the standpoint that this place is fully equipped, that you've got a whole team of people, and that you've got paint.
I just assumed we were having a gang. I just assumed there was a gang with me.
If I've got a gang, then this is going to work even better. Because I can have people who can go get water, people who could go hunt, people who can repair the wall and build settlement further. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Right. Let's say it's just me up there, little me sitting there going, great, I'm on this oil rig. I've got loads of food. I won't need food, remember that, because if it's just me, 6 months supply for the whole team. So I've got food. Food isn't an issue anymore because it's just me. The only issue with that is rusting. So that's what you got to think of. I got all the medical stuff. I got all the machinery. I got all the energy and stuff. The only thing is rusting. And, you know, I can't comment much on that because it would be an issue. But I got boats. I got helicopters potentially. There's a helicopter on there. Might not know how to fly. I might die. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. A helicopter.
I've played Flight Simulation. All right. I know how to fly a helicopter.
I think this is a debate between realism and whatever you are.
No. The only problem with mine is like you said, the rust. That is the biggest problem. Soon it's gonna break down, and that'll be that. And I can move on to the next oil rig because with my boat and whatever. So I could just oil rig hop.
Well,
between each oil rig.
Well, I can Roman fort hop. Nonetheless, we should probably wrap up because we've been talking for
right. Yeah. We're talking about World War now, actually. Anyway, right, cool.
So
switch the background
again. Similar to the last one with the weapons.
Yeah.
Also, state your opinion on which place is better. What weapon and what place?
Yep. And also tell us what weapon and place you would go to and what you would think is a good place to be. You know, you might surprise us.
So there we are. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for watching.
We are Not Your Normal Podcast.
Not Your
Quarantine
Normal
edition.
Way.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Luke. See you next time.
Goodbye.